It's been over a year since I bought a Dyson V11. I've had absolutely no problems with it, and it's been worth every penny of its hefty £600 price tag. You definitely get what you pay for from a reputable brand, and if you treat it like the manual says, it'll last. The V10 was great, but the V11 has been much better. It's more powerful, cleans better, runs longer, and is much quieter. It's slightly heavier than the V10, but still really light for its power level compared to the copycat clones. The V11 and V10 are still the only cordless cleaners that can fully replace a plug-in vac and get even better performance, as the data shows. It hugely outperformed even a Kirby vacuum, as well as the more popular variety of knockoff cordless clones like the Henry Cordless that have all jumped on the bandwagon for a fast buck at your expense. Auto motors work best because it maximises the necessary suction and airflow through the carpet pile based on the floor type, and maximises runtime without me needing to do anything. On carpets, I now always use plus mode, which puts the front gates down to maximise suction and draw the biggest airflow through my deep pile, which deep cleans best. On hard floors, I move the head switch to the middle position to allow a suction leak, otherwise it sucks too hard and clamps. The gates being open a bit also allows the big particles through more easily on hard floor, and the carbon fibres get rid of stuck on fine dust. So it's two solutions in one without a head change that competitors lack. The trick for best performance is to clean slowly, as Dyson recommend. Industry standards that measure cleaning performance use a speed equivalent to taking 2 seconds to move 1 meter on both the forward and backward passes. Doing it slow like this means there's more time for airflow through the pile to draw dust out. You should also overlap the strokes, aiming for the centre of the head to go down the edge of the last stroke, which makes each section of the carpet get 2 forwards and backwards passes with different parts of the cleaner head. Because the suction is so strong on this machine, if you try to go faster than this, it will feel tiring, so I found it's best to just let the machine do all the work and you push it gently and it naturally moves slowly. You only need to use boost mode if you have a heavy spot mess, like a knocked over plant pot or something. The data shows it cleans spot messes faster, but gets a similar deep clean, so there's no advantage to keeping it on boost all the time. In fact, it's bad for the battery and noisier. I've never run out of battery, but I also don't do big tiring weekly whole house mega cleans anymore. That burden has gone now thanks to Dyson inventing the cordless form factor, and I just break it up and do separate areas of the house at different times, whenever it suits. You just couldn't do that easily with a big plug-in, because it took ages to get it out and put it away, instead of just lifting it off the wall and starting. Some cleaning sessions have been over half an hour, which is longer than I want to spend cleaning. I've also never seen the 4.5 hour recharge time, because you just plonk it back on the wall charger and leave it every time you've used it, and it charges in the background without you having to do anything. Couldn't be simpler. No uncharged spare batteries you had to dig out, no messing around plugging in chargers, no swapping batteries because it's run out before you finish like with the knockoffs I've used. The trigger is feather touch and I don't even need to squeeze it to keep it on. Just holding the machine handle activates it, so I've never had a tired finger even once. Not having a keep on switch is much better and means I've never wasted any precious battery life by keeping it on when it doesn't need to be when I'm moving around. It only takes a bit of getting used to, but it's so much better once you learn. This smarter use is another reason the battery lasts, and why you only need one. The digital motor also starts and stops instantly, helping with this, whereas many knockoffs still have old-fashioned heavy conventional motors that take ages to start up and stop, and they also need more than one battery just to get the same job done. Even though I've used it almost daily, the battery still gives the same original runtime, so there's been no fading. Apparently the machine charges and discharges the battery pack in a really clever way to prevent the cells from degrading as quickly as you find in the copycat clones, which is supposed to help keep its maximum runtime high for much longer. And it seems to be working. All the tools are great, especially the mini motorised brush tool, which makes stir cleaning so easy. It takes 1 minute now to run from top to bottom. Not having to wrestle with a hose is another example of why the cordless form factor is the future, and why everyone has started to copy Dyson's brilliant ideas. I've got good at emptying the bin in just 5 seconds now, without any visible mess or dust cloud. The trick is to avoid splashing dust by opening it deeper inside the bin so it lands more gently, as I've shown in other videos in the description. You can tell when you get a dust cloud, but this machine's clever emptying mechanism means you can get deep into the bin before opening. This machine also cleans the shroud with a few swipes too, so you don't even need to do that anymore. Every other knockoff clone forces you to get near all the dirt and makes a total mess when emptying, so no wonder people think bagless is messy. Only the knockoff clones are messy. But at least you aren't taxed having to pay for a new bag every time you empty it, like the old-fashioned bag cleaners. And I've never had any problems with smells. You'll get smells on any vacuum cleaner if you suck up smelly material. It's as simple as that. But being able to empty the bin, where most smells fester, quickly and without cost, makes this relatively one of the least smelly vacuums you can get. I also took a quick look at the cleaner head. Many people find they have very little hair tangling on these newer Dyson machines, and I've never had any tangles. The brush bar still works like new. I've never needed to use the fluffy head. I did for the V10, but not for the V11. For real world mess levels, unlike these exaggerated play videos of mine, or some of the dodgy misleading reviews you see out there, the improved main head now does the exact same thing and can get fine dust and larger particles up off the floor without any head switching hassle. The rubber backing on the handle helps it lean on the wall without falling over and doesn't leave marks behind. It works amazingly well, and it would only fall due to carelessness. If there's improvements I'd like to see on future models, it will be a touch-operated electronic way of changing the gate heights on the cleaner head without having to bend down or use your toe. It could also be a bit lighter. I've also found on worn sections of carpet that the auto mode flip-flops between high and low when you push forwards and pull back, which is a bit annoying. It should better detect carpet. It would also be nice to be able to throw filters in the washing machine and have a spare rather than washing by hand, which you can't do with these without breaking them. Overall, cordless, when done right, is the future and much better than plug-in, and only Dyson have managed to achieve that properly so far. But of course it was their idea, so what would you expect? None of the comparably expensive copycat clones even come close. They're heavy or relatively underperforming, and need multiple batteries to get the same runtime at lower performance. Overall, there's nothing on the market like the V10 and V11. If you can afford this, it will change the way you deal with the cleaning chore, which has now become much easier for me. I hope you enjoyed this update review, and thanks for watching.